Hello. I think I finally figured this out. Let me know if you can hear me. Hang on. Let me know if you can hear me in the chat. I'm trying out my new mic, so I'm not sure if it's working. So please let me know if it is working. Sorry, I'm over here trying to work it out for myself. You can hear me? Okay, awesome. All right. It is Friday night. So yeah, well, there you go. I can hear myself. I am not a tech person. So Matt, if you guys watched Evan Matt's live the other day, he took you guys through his very fancy spaceship, as someone called it, which was the most accurate word for it. All that tech is way too much for me. Oh, look, we've even got America in here. So now I'm literally streaming straight from YouTube, so I haven't got all the fancy software, so I can't bring your names up here. So I do apologize, but we do have the Mauries. If I've missed someone, I'm sorry. We've got Nicola, Chris, Jeffrey, Anita, V, and Nate. Dave and Brandy, they are vloggers from the States. So welcome, guys. It must be pretty early there. What time is it there? Chantel, happy Friday. We've got the bag drop in the house. Hey, Kay. Vanessa, from New South Wales, Shell Harbour. So everyone is in here. So super exciting. It's 5 a.m. Well, thank you for getting up. That's crazy early. So thank you for getting up for my live. Yeah, I was trying with the technology again. I'm very trying with technology. I'm amazed I even have a YouTube channel because I'm struggling. I'm struggling. Anyway, g'day Steve, Linda, Rhonda. So everyone is here. All right. Have we got our drinks ready? Have we all hit the like button? My husband is in here, literally in the building. Vanessa, well, thank you for being here. That's very nice of you. She said she's excited to see me. So nice to have you here. So make sure you all hit that like button first of all. Let's get started with that. And I have got some stories to tell you. So, hey, Gabriel. So yeah, I have a lot of people kind of asking, "Oh, coffee." Well, you're drinking coffee. Actually, I haven't started drinking yet. I've just got a Cokes right now. Just a soft drink. I don't know. I get so stressed out on the lead up to lives because I'm not very good with the technology. And as you saw last time, it all failed on me. And today it started to fail me too, but I got through it and we got there and we are here. So, as I was saying, a lot of people kind of are really interested in what it's like for crew life. And I did work as a personal trainer on the Carnival Elation back in 2005. So, literally, I was getting off the ship right about now, 20 years ago. I did only do one contract, and I'm pretty sure when I tell you the stories, you'll understand why I only did one contract. So let me say, all positions are not equal. Some people do have better better setup, better living situations than other positions. And I'm sure you guys are not surprised to know that. And, for personal trainers, we still had it better than a lot of people. But when you compare it to what we get here on land, it's very different. So I'm going to have some water and then let's get stuck into it. So, basically, from the Splendor. Hey, Sam, I hope you're enjoying your cruise on the Splendor. So, Anita's got a Pepsi. We all hit that like button. All right. So, So, how it all started, how I ended up working on a cruise ship. So, I was at work one day. I was working in a fitness center, and I was kind of jack of all trades in this. It was like one of those council swimming pool gym type things. So I worked front desk. I worked as an aerobics instructor, water aerobics instructor, fitness instructor, swimming instructor, pool lifeguard, and front desk. So I literally could cover any area in that center that they wanted. I have always been passionate about fitness. I did squad swimming in when I was little, so that's how I got into swim teaching. Actually, not when I was little, all through my childhood. So I got into squad swimming when I was, I think I was 16 when you're allowed to be a swim instructor. So then I did all the courses to become a swim instructor. And then while I finished school, I did the courses to become a personal trainer. So I became a personal trainer, and I was working in gyms literally right after I left school. And then, yeah, I got offered this job out at this swim or this council leisure center. Leisure center is the word I was looking for. So I did that, and then I already had all the skills for most of the stuff, so and the qualifications for most of the stuff. So the only other course I had to do was to be a pool lifeguard. So I did that, and then one day I had a friend come in, and he said to me, and he was in a wheelchair, so I don't know whether he ended up getting the job or not. Obviously, it would have been possible for him, but it's also a lot more difficult because they expect you to run aerobics classes, like around step classes and everything. So anyway, I this chat is very quiet. I'm just saying. I'm having a look here. So I he came in and he told me he had applied for a job on a cruise ship. And I was like, wow, huh. Okay. I was like, I might look into that. And I'm like, where'd you find out about that? Because remember, this is in the olden days. And he goes, oh, it was in the newspaper. So I went and bought the newspaper and I found the job. Glad to hear you're still listening, Anita. So you're just really keen on my story. So I found the ad and I applied for the job to be a personal trainer on a cruise ship. And so they called me in for an exam, for a test. So I had to go into the city and sit down and do this exam. And there was so so many questions in there that you do not learn. So there is a difference between fitness instructor and personal trainer. So you're learning all about anatomy and movement and all that kind of stuff. So that's all the stuff we learned as personal trainers. And I got great marks when I was doing the personal trainer course because I was super passionate about it, obviously. But then this test was all about like nutrition and stuff. Like it's asking like what are antioxidants and stuff like that. And back then, like I was young and that's not what I had studied. I'd studied human body and movement and stuff. So I walked out of there like, oh my God, I totally flunked that test. I was like, there's no way they're going to hire me. So they did. They hired me. And they basically give you 6 months to get everything together. So I've literally got a list of things to go through with you guys. So if you see me looking down, it's because I don't want to miss anything. I literally wrote this down today. All right. So we had to do all these courses and tests. So I had to get visas, obviously. I had to buy all these books. I had to do a full medical exam, and that cost me $350. Now, 20 years ago, $350 was a lot of money. Like it still is now, but it was a lot of money. And then I had to do some different courses. I had to do some sort of maritime training course, which was a full like weekend away course that I had to do. There was a lot. And then I had to fly to the UK. So I had to buy my own tickets to fly to the UK for 2 weeks training in the UK. Now, the gym is technically a part of the spa. We don't work directly for the cruise line. We are hired through a company called Steiner. So they hired us, they sent us out there, they assess us. Now, there's no guarantee you're going to get assigned to a ship. So you can go out there, do the course, do all the training in the UK, and then still get denied. And thankfully, I didn't get denied, but we'll go back to, so I got to the UK. We had to pay kind of our own accommodation. So I paid for, like, it was kind of cheap because it was YMCA, but we were in like almost like dorms. There was like bunks in there with some other girls. I can't remember if there was 4 or 6, but there was quite a few other girls in the room with us. And it was like buffet meals in the morning and stuff like that. Like, the food wasn't great, the accommodation wasn't great. It was relatively, well, it was cheap, I guess, but it's still, it still adds up. There's a lot of expenses. And then we had to pay for our own travel. So we had to travel into London. So I can't remember where we're staying. It was outside of London. It wasn't in London. And we had to catch a train into London. And we were doing our training at the Reebok Centre at Canary Wharf. I know, going all that way, not being guaranteed is crazy. So we traveled into Canary Wharf. We had to read all of these books. We had to learn all that before we even got there. And it was all about learning, the different, macros. So, learning about the different proteins, learning about the zone diet. The zone diet was one that we had to push a lot. And if I'm being completely honest, I can't really remember much about it, because I've learned a lot about nutrition since then, and the more I look back on it, the more I'm like, okay, so they just taught us what they wanted us to teach, and that was it. So anyway, we went in, we did Pilates training, spin class training, we did all sorts of training, and so they were kind of assessments as well. Thankfully, with all my experience being an aerobics instructor and stuff, I was pretty good. My favorite ship on the Carnival fleet. I'll get back to that one, Vanessa, because I have to think about that, because I have like, obviously I love Splendor, but that's kind of the best one that we have at the moment. But I also love Spirit. And then I really want to try ships like Jubilee and stuff like that. But I'll get back to that, because I got to think about that one. But right now in Australia, it'd be Splendor. All right. So anyway, we did all our training, and then I was assigned a ship. So they do base the cruise line on your personality, on your skills, where they think you'll be the best fit. So for an example, there was a hairdresser from New York who was staying in our room, and she got assigned to a private yacht. So that would have been interesting. I'm keen to know how she went. But yeah, she kind of had the private yacht vibes, and you wouldn't be surprised to hear that I guess I had Carnival vibes. So they assigned me to the Carnival Elation. Now, this is where Carnival starts kicking in. So the cruise line then flies us from England to, well, Galveston for me. So they flew me to Galveston, and they put you up in a cheap motel for the night. Now, I was actually really, really, really sick. I got really sick towards the end of my time in England. So I had this really bad cold or something, and that flight was hell. It was absolute hell. So as we landed, I thought my head was going to explode, and I was just sitting there bawling my eyes out by the time we landed. And everyone gets up out of their seats to get off the plane, and I just sat there like I couldn't hear. My head felt like it was going to explode. So I was with, British Airways, and they were really good. They were really, really accommodating for me. They called for the medics from, Houston Airport, um, to come and check me out. You know what they did? So the flight attendants were really sweet. They got me off and handed me over to the people who work at the airport. They gave me Panadol and sent me on my way. I was still in so much pain and feeling so bad. And I remember just sitting down against a wall, just crying. I sound like a real wuss, but I was just feeling that bad, like deathly bad. And I remember these security guards just walking past me, just looking at me weird and walking away. And I think the first thing that struck me when I got to Texas, like this is going to sound so rude, but I had never seen people the size that they were at the airport. But anyway, that was just my first impressions as a young little 20-year-old traveling for the first time. And I was very disappointed with how not friendly they were at the airport. But anyway, I eventually got myself together. I got through customs and all of that. And then I had no idea what to do from there. I didn't know how I was getting to Galveston. So Galveston's about an hour away from Houston Airport. So I was trying to work out what to do. I was asking all these people, like, what do I do? And then eventually someone helped me out and they said, hey, there's a bus you can catch that will get you to Galveston. So they eventually got me to this bus and I caught the bus out and they got me to the motel. And I slept so hard that night, but then I had to get up really early to get on the ship the next day. So I got up and I got on the ship, and it was it like, you do all the crew stuff. They kind of send you through to your cabin. They teach you, like, you got to kind of hang along with them as you do the muster. I think the first thing that really, really I remember when I got on the ship is I remember one of my coworkers took me to the atrium of the cruise ship. And the older ships, they've got that massive atrium in the middle. And I just remember looking down there in absolute awe, like, how can something be this big, this amazing? It was beautiful. And I was just stunned. I don't know if you guys all had that moment yourself, or if that was just the 20-year-old naive me who's never traveled anywhere, never been on a plane before this. I was just blown away. It was absolutely incredible. And I don't know if that's part of why I still like the Joe Farkas. That's his name, right? Joe Farkas. I think it is. Yeah. Anyway, I think that's why I like Joe Farkas's design so much, because it really blew me away. And it's not something you generally see on land. I think with the modern ships, everything's a lot like a floating hotel. And I think I like that they are so extra. The cruise ships, the decor, the everything is so over the top. And to me, that's what a cruise ship is. Like, you get on, it's just like nothing you see on land. And I think that's what really blew me away. So I can see a couple of you were like, yeah, you still have those feelings. Dave and Brandy do. So, and you guys have been on splendid having you. So, Sharon, he didn't believe it was a ship. I know, right? It's crazy. Yeah, look, he was very eclectic. I bought his book and I haven't properly gone ugh, I haven't properly gone through it yet, but I bought his book because I actually started studying interior design, and I just want to know what was going on in his brain when he came up with this. Like, that is so extra. But I love that. I mean, it's just, you don't see it on land. It's not something you generally see. Like, it's just beautiful. I don't know, some people hate it, but I like to see it's called Design on the High Seas, setting the scene for entertainment architecture on board cruise ships. So, yeah, I have a bit of a passion for interior design. So that's where I was like, I'm buying his book because I really want to know kind of what was going on in his brain when he designed these things. So anyway, that was the first thing that struck me. It was just so overwhelming. Like it was just, there was stuff everywhere. It was beautiful. It was over the top. It was massive. This atrium was just huge. And my little 20-year-old brain was just, wow, like I was blown away. So anyway, so did all the orientation, all that kind of stuff, sat down. So at the beginning of each cruise, the spa stuff. So that's all your massage, facials, personal trainers, nails, hair, all of that. There was about 18 of us. We'd all sit down in the aerobics room or the classroom and we'd have a discussion about the cruise, any updates. So we'd sit down with the manager and go through that. So we went to that. And they realized how sick I was. So they put me on bed rest for 24 hours. So I wasn't allowed out of the cabin for the first 24 hours. Anyway, so I was all set up on the ship. Well, sick for the first part. But then once I got out of isolation, I know it's pretty crazy, Al. There's plenty more stories. So I'm still just getting on the ship, remember? And our itinerary was we did Progreso, Cozumel. Progreso in Mexico, Cozumel in Mexico, and Belize. That was our itinerary. So we did 7-day cruises. It didn't change. It was the same itinerary week after week after week. So it would start from Galveston, Texas, and then the cruising nurse is in there. Hey. So yeah, we'd leave from Galveston. We'd spend a day or two at sea. I can't remember exactly. And then we'd go to Progreso in Mexico, and then Cozumel, and then we did Belize. Now, I kind of liked going back to these ports all the time because I did kind of make friends. So you probably saw on my Instagram a photo of me with a guy with his top saying, what did it say, Porno King? So that's Daniel. He was the MC at Senior Frogs in Cozumel. So who knows Senior Frogs in Cozumel? Please let me know in the comments if you know Senior Frogs. I have some stories coming about Senior Frogs, but so Daniel was the MC there, and so I got friends with him and the manager there. They were lovely. Anyway, so let's talk some more about the ship first. So at the beginning, I actually really, really struggled to fit in. So it's going to sound weird coming from me, but in the spa, everyone are really, really, really girly. Now, despite all this pink that you see, like absolutely everything's pink with me, I am not a girly girl. I am a little bit of a tomboy. If you get to know me personality-wise, I'm not afraid to get rough and tough and dirty. And I am a bit of a tomboy. And that's because I have 4 brothers. So I do like the girly stuff. I had a friend in the States once tell me, "You're the most girliest tomboy I've ever met." And I was like, what does that even mean? I was like, what? And then when he explained it to me, it kind of made sense. He's like, you love all the pretty stuff and, you're really girly like that, but then your personality, a bit of a tomboy. And it's true. I kind of always got along better with guys than girls. I'm pretty low maintenance despite I enjoy dressing up. I don't do my nails. I'm pretty low maintenance. So anyway, I was in a spa living, working, and our off time with girls everywhere. I have a shout out for Isaac. Hey Isaac, I hope you're doing well. So I really struggled to fit in, and my first week on there, so I was a young girl traveling on my own, so I decided to start a bit of a diary, just recording because we didn't have social media then. Um, so I decided to write down in my diary all my experiences and anyone I'd met and stuff like that. And my first roommate found my diary and she decided to show it around to the entire spa. So next thing you know, I'm like this big joke that they're all making fun of. So I really kind of struggled at the beginning. And there were two, I'd call them kind of the mean girls. There were these two girls from England, and you know what? That's actually I'll get to this one quickly. So, how did your family feel about you going off on your contract? So, I remember going in and telling mum and dad, and dad was like, "Why?" And I was like, "Why not?" And he was like, "Oh, yeah, I guess." And then mum was, like, coming up with all these things like, "Oh, they're petri dishes, blah, blah, blah." But the funny thing is that now mum she cruises more than I do. Like, she loves it. So, I think, she kinda read too many bad stories early on. But anyway, so I'll get back to it. So, yeah, it was pretty awful. I didn't like being a bit of the joke of the spa, and not fitting in with the girls. It wasn't very nice. Obviously, no one likes that. And these two mean girls, they were kind of like the ones who ruled the roost. And they were one of them had her 21st birthday, so everyone threw her this big, massive birthday party, and we were all there celebrating and everything in the crew bar. And yeah, I just didn't fit in with them, and it wasn't a great start. So I started spending a bit of time in the crew bar myself, just going up there on my own, um, and meeting people up there to hang out with. And everyone would be like, I remember some girls saying, like, "Why don't you hang out with us more?" And I'm like, "Because I live and work with you. Like, I need other people around too." Like, I don't know. And plus, obviously my first few experiences in the spa with the girls wasn't the greatest start. Now, these girls, shortly after that, actually got kicked off the ship. So they they came back from port one day, absolutely wasted. Now, as crew, you're not allowed to I think the limit for us then was 0.08, but I believe it's even lower now. So obviously in the case that there's an emergency, we need to be able to act. We need to be able to safely get everybody off the ship. So we can't get drunk on the ship. We're not allowed to get drunk on the ship. Not saying it didn't happen, but if you are going to drink on the cruise ship, or get a little bit tipsy, shall we say, you have to be discreet about it. You have to be quiet. You have to not let it show that you are drunk. These girls came on yelling and screaming and running through the hallways, like in the staff area. They were just being so loud and obnoxious and clearly, clearly, clearly drunk. So next thing you know, security were down there and they were, I think they did breath tests. So they tested them and sure enough, they were drunk. And so they got kicked off the ship and sent back home. So I'm just going to have a quick drink here. So, I wasn't exactly devastated to see them go. The funny thing is, like, one of them, she was such a ditz. I remember when they were making up her poster for her 21st birthday, they wrote all these quotes and stuff down that she had said. And one of them, think we are in the Gulf of Mexico, right? Caribbean. One of her first comments apparently was, "Are we near where the Titanic sunk?" So pretty sure there's no icebergs in the Gulf of Mexico. But anyway, so good riddance to them. Now, let me tell you a little bit more about where we lived. So, I was on deck three. Now, the decks were a little bit different. So, this was below all the staff. Sorry, all the members' guest desk. Oh my god, I can't talk. Below the guests' decks. So we had three decks down below where the staff stayed. And I was on deck three. So deck three was the same one that we had the infirmary. Now, fun story about the infirmary. So yes, we did get free healthcare, obviously, being staff. But I quickly learned that out the front of that infirmary, there was this big box. It would have been bigger than this, like just sitting out. It was probably about this size, actually, and it was probably about, say, this deep or whatever, filled with condoms. so, so obviously they encouraged safe, fun, safe adult fun. But there was a lot of that happened on board, because it was the life was pretty full on. So that was the way of having fun as as workers on a cruise ship. So anyway, also on deck three, we had the morgue just down from us as well. So I'm sure you've all heard now that there is actually a morgue on cruise ships because people do pass away on cruise ships. So that was also on our deck. As staff, so there is the captains, or sorry, officers. Sorry, there's captain and the officers, and then there is staff. And the staff is basically, the spa, your entertainment staff, and casino staff. Basically, I don't know what you'd call us, but we were considered the staff, and then there was crew. So crew was all the you've got all your waiters and room stewards and all of that. So they're considered crew. Now, on deck three, there was also a crew mess. So that's basically the little restaurant for the crew. That one was select hours and it was buffet food. So I'm pretty sure it was just the leftovers from the guests that they'd bring down for the staff. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It wasn't the greatest food. Now, as staff, we had a staff mess. Staff mess, we had a buffet still, and there'd be a little bit of a set menu. It was a small buffet because the staff mess is a lot smaller than the crew mess because there's a lot less of us. And again, it would be select hours. But we also had the luxury of also choosing from the menu and having waiters wait on us. So we were able to order fresh food as well if we wanted something that wasn't there. So again, very select menu, but it's one of the little luxuries that we had being staff. And then there was the officers' mess. So I can't tell you what that was like because I was never in there. So that is where we ate. As crew, crew were not allowed in the guests areas. They also had, I believe, I didn't get to see it, but I believe they have more dorm situation downstairs. I could be wrong. But I'm pretty sure that's what I got told. There was more of them in rooms, but I don't know if that's because that's an older ship, because I'm pretty sure now they've got kind of what we had, which was the 2-bed cabins. And then you've got the little tiny bathroom, which was like half of the ones that the guests have. It was really, really small. The shower was literally just a corner. It was really tiny. But it made do. We made do. It worked. And so we as staff were allowed to go into guest areas at certain times. We were not allowed in the casino. Fine for me. I'm not a gambler, but we were allowed to go into crew areas, staff area, guest areas, as long as we had our name badge on. And as long as we are not fraternizing with the guests. So we're allowed to talk to guests, obviously, within certain extent, but we're not allowed to fraternize. I once got a warning for going to have pizza with some guests. So anyway, oops, my bad. Anyway, so that's kind of how it was for us. And then we had the crew bar that I mentioned earlier, and the crew bar is so good. The drinks are so cheap. Beers were $1. So I had a lot of fun in there. It's just it was a little cozy little bar kind of thing, but you get to meet people from different departments and areas, and it was good to meet people outside of the spa and hang out with different people, get to meet different people. So, speaking of meeting different people, I don't know if he's on here, but one of the first friends I made, Rod, um, I we would do tours of the spa. So, if you guys have ever been on embarkation day, you'd know that they tour you through the spa. So we were doing that. It hasn't changed at all. We'd take them through and try to sell them all the different products. And then I'd take them to my area and I'd show them all the stuff that we're trying to sell them, which I'll tell you more about that soon. And then we'd have to shut up to go do the muster. So I was shutting the doors one day and there was this guy in like rip curl shorts, thongs, and a singlet top. And I said, "Oh, I'm sorry, we're closing. We'll be back after muster." And he goes, "Yeah, all right, no worries." And I'm like, "You're an Aussie." And he goes, "How'd you know?" And I said, "Oh, you can tell a mile away." He just looked like, yeah, a real average Aussie bloke. And yeah, sure enough, Rod from Byron Bay. So shout out to you, mate. He ended up being one of my buddies. He worked in the casino. And mum would send me little care packages every now and then. So every Sunday for a while there, we would have Vegemite on toast on a Sunday morning. And that was our little taste of home. But then what else was I going to tell you? I was going to tell you some more stuff about. Yeah, so I've told you about the cabins. Oh, yeah. So basically, what my job was, I had to run aerobics classes, spin classes. Oh my God, I'm already 37 minutes in and I haven't even. So yeah, I had to run classes and I had to run seminars. Now, the way the pay works in the spa, you will probably not be surprised to hear this. If you have done any sort of experience with the spa, we are pretty much all commission. So basically you get a massage or whatever, and the g'day Scott, welcome in. I'm talking about my time working on the cruise ship. So we would run. Well, yeah, so say you get a massage, right, and you pay $200 for the treatment. The staff would get a certain commission out of that, and then they'd get tips, and then they would get commission on any products that we sell too. So we were kind of pushed to sell products. So I very quickly learned, outside of running aerobics classes, spin classes, Pilates classes, step classes, that my job was to sell. And we had to push sales hard, and we were being hounded to push sales. And then we get commission. Now, because we as personal trainers, nobody comes on a ship wanting actual personal training. So we don't sell much of our actual services. So we got, I think it was $250 a month, and then the rest was commission. And it was all commission and like tips and stuff. And I refuse to sit there and push these products onto people when they are coming to see me. So I did run workshops and stuff, and we tried to basically sell different like detox capsules, body brushes, and then even like your cellulite oils and stuff. Yeah, I'll tell you more about that in a minute, Dave and Brandy. So we were basically really, really pushed to sell these products. And my coworker, she was great at sales, and I listened to her once. She would not let somebody go unless they bought something. And I could not bring myself to do that. So I didn't make much money when I was on the ship. I may as well go into it now. All that stuff I had to do in the lead up to get onto the cruise ship. So I'm talking the medicals, the flights, the accommodation, the visas, the uniforms, the transport, the maritime training, all of that. It ended up costing me $7,000. This is in 2004. Cost me $7,000 to get to the cruise ship. That entire 8.5 month contract I did, I made $7,000. So when I got home and I had to do my taxes and I put it all in, mum worked it out for me. She helped me work it all out. She's like, okay, so you spent $7,000 and I made $7,000. So that is why I only did one contract, but there is more reasons. So let's go into it a little bit more. All right. So I mentioned about how the other girl, we threw her big 21st birthday in the spa. So come March, my birthday came around. I still didn't have any friends on the ship yet, really. I just went up to Crew Bar on my own and sat and had some drinks with a few people there. So I didn't really have a 21st birthday. It was yeah, it was just me having some drinks with a few random people in the crew bar. So I was actually talking to Matt and Rob about this the other day. And I said, I think I might have to this content creators cruise that we're doing in 2027. I might have to do a redo of my 21st birthday on the cruise ship. So if you guys are coming on that content creators cruise, I think we're going to do a 21st birthday party again for me. You know, I might have a few more ankles, a little bit older, but you know, I'll party like I'm 21. So Rob made a joke about, oh, have you got any friends this time? And so smart. It's such, I wanted to say another word, but this is a friendly channel. So anyway, so I'm going to have a lot of you lovely people to help me through a 22nd, 21st birthday party. So it's going to be an epic one because we've got some making up to do for my lame 21st birthday on the cruise ship. But it was still fun. I mean, the guests were awesome when they found out it was my birthday. That's when I realized that Americans do that thing where they pin the $1 notes. A guest gave me a $1 note and pinned it to me. I was like, what's this for? And they're like, oh, that's what you do when it's your birthday. And then everyone pins a $1 note. All right. Are we back? Let me know if I'm back. Yay! Wow. Oh, YouTube hates me, I swear. All right. So, yeah, what I was trying to say is that I dressed up. I've got it here somewhere, but so I dressed up in all this Australian stuff for our country party. And I actually won a diamond necklace for the best dressed. So yeah, all these corks from Crew Bar on my hat, and the t-shirt that the guests let me borrow. And yeah, I borrowed some like pants, like cargo pants or short type things, like very Steve Irwin style. But anyway, so I won a diamond necklace. So anyway, I was pretty stoked by that. Anyway, so all right. Now the next best, now this girl, I still love her to bits to this day. the next person I met was Susan. So Susan came in one day and she was a massage therapist. She came on, she was from England. And I got friendly with her pretty quickly. We became good friends. And even she had a first like bad experience first thing on the ship. Like she was sitting in the crew mess, sorry, the staff mess, and some other girls from the spa were talking mess about her. Some South African girls. And they didn't realize that, yes, she's from England, but originally she's South African. So she actually knew everything that they said. So, yeah, so she kind of had a similar experience to me. But me and her, we became good friends and we were pretty inseparable after that. We did a lot of things together. And then even when I finished my contract and they flew me back to England, I met up with her and stayed with her so I moved my flight back a couple of days so I could stay with her for a couple of days. So that was nice. So yeah, we worked really long days. I would basically go and open up the gym at 7 a.m. in the morning. And then I would work pretty much all day. I'd have a 1 hour lunch break where I would go and eat, and then I'd have a quick little nana nap. And then I'd work until about 5 or 7 at night. The days did get really, really long. There was one day we worked until like 2 or 3 a.m., I think it was. And it was because we were doing inventory. So it was like a 16-hour day in the end. So that was pretty gross. Excuse me. So we were basically contracted to work 5.5 days. So we would get one scheduled day off a week and we'd have a half day on Sundays. So when I say half day on Sundays, basically as the guests are getting off the ship and the new guests are getting on. And then as soon as I think it was like about, some people would get different times, but we would have to be there to show people around the spa, stuff like that. But we'd get a little bit of time in the morning. So that was our half day. And then we'd get one day off, which was generally on a port day. So we could get off and see things. Now, there was one manager we had who absolutely hated me. And I think it's because I didn't sell much. So I was pretty useless to her. And so she put me in the lifeboat course to learn how to operate the lifeboats. I didn't get a say in it. She just put me in it. But then she started scheduling my time off when I was doing the training, which was mandatory. I didn't get a say in that. So I wasn't even getting my time off in the end. And one day it all just got too much for me and I started having a bit of a meltdown and I actually snuck out the front. So on the elation, there's actually a door at the front of the gym because obviously going through the spa, I've got to go past her. But there was a door at the front. So I kind of snuck out there and went down and around and I went to see the staff captain and I just bawled my eyes out to him. I'm like, I just want my time off. I just want my time off. And she was in the elevators with some other spa staff when she got the phone call from the staff captain. And apparently he just gave her a spray. It's pretty rough, the hours we work. And even the doctor kind of said to me at the time, she's like, if you ever just need a day off, let me know because I know how hard you guys work and I know it takes its toll. So if you ever need a day off, tell me. And it really did take its toll. Like there was one girl who was my cabin mate for a little bit and she passed out one day, just like passed out through the doors of our cabin. And I started like freaking out. But thankfully the infirmary, the doctors was just up the hallway, literally like I'd say maybe 15 meters away. So I went straight there and the doctor came out and they were looking at her and they're like, she's faking it. So they were doing the thing where they were checking her eyes and everything. They're like, she's faking. But she just really, really wanted to get off the ship. And so she was doing everything she could to get off and she did. She got to go home. But anyway, So we worked really long days. The pay wasn't great, as you know. I was kind of forced to do lifeboat training. Now, some of the big events that happened. So I mentioned that I was on the cruise ship with Hurricane Katrina. So in the Gulf of Mexico with Hurricane Katrina. So you could imagine what that was like. The ship was definitely moving. I don't know if that was the worst we experienced, but I don't know if you guys remember, 2005 was an extremely active hurricane season. There was a lot happening that year. Um, so yeah, it got a bit rocky. And there would be days where we would wake up and we'd go, and especially the salon, all the products and everything were just all over the salon. Like it was just a mess. We would tie it all down the night before if we knew it was going to be rough seas, or we'd put towels around them. We'd try to do as much as we could to stop anything from moving around, rolling around. But yeah, when it's moving that much, sometimes there's not much you can do. But I remember walking down the hallways, and the hallways were pretty wide. Um, but I literally could not walk without hitting the walls. Like it would just be like this. And yeah, it might have been Katrina. I remember absolutely everybody else who worked in the spa was sick. And I was having fun with it. Like as the ship went up like this, I'd go uphill and then it would move, and I'm going downhill and I was like running along with it. And everyone's like, Amy, stop, I'm going to be sick. Stop. So anyway, I had fun with it, but obviously Hurricane Katrina was no joke. So there was times like that where our itinerary would have actually changed, of course. So we did Freeport, Nassau, and Key West. So I think they are the only ports I saw the whole 8.5 months. I'll tell you why it was 8.5 months, because it was supposed to be 8 months. I'll tell you that story too. But yeah, so it was Progreso in Mexico, Cozumel, Belize, Freeport, Nassau, and Key West. And yeah, Cozumel was definitely my favorite. There was some beautiful spots, some great beaches where you can kind of relax and have a drink and stuff like that. I did go over to, okay, Americans, help me out here. What's it called? I can't think of it. I know Playa Carmen. I caught a ferry over there to Playa Carmen once. That was nice. But my favorite thing to do in Cozumel was to go to Senor Frogs. It was wild. There's like no rules in Mexico. I remember seeing, like, I reckon this girl was maybe 10 and she was drinking and she was with her grandma, and grandma was just like, oh yeah, whatever. And this little girl was getting drunk and I was like, what the hell's going on? But I remember there'd be times I'd go there and I would be like, nah, I'm not drinking. And my mate Daniel there that you saw in the picture, he'd be like, no, what are you drinking? And I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. He's like, yeah, you are. What are you drinking? And I'm like, no, I'm not drinking. And then he would go away and he'd come back with one of those big long tubes. And oh my God, I couldn't not drink if I wanted to. There'd be other times I'd be dancing. You'd be like, hey, Amy, we got some shots at your table. And I'd go back and I'm just getting free shots. Like he's just got a round of shots for me and my friends. And I was just like it was so much fun. So I didn't even really need to buy many drinks when I was at Senor Frogs. They would definitely keep me happy. And then I'd have to very carefully walk back to the ship, trying to pretend like I was sober, getting back on the ship. And I remember I was seeing this guy on the ship. His name was Keith. He was what was he? He was a aircon technician or mechanic or something. But I don't even know how I remember this because I was so far gone. I was in his cabin and I was so sunburnt because we'd been laying at the beach. Sorry, babe, you're not going to want to hear this story, but I was so sunburnt, and I got back on the ship and I went to his cabin, and he kept telling me, get in the shower, because he was trying to get me to, sober up or whatever. And so I've taken my bikini off and I was like bright red, and I was like looking in the mirror. I'm so sunburned. He's like, Amy, get in the shower. I'm like, I'm so sunburned. I was so gone. Oh my God. But as long as you walk on there and don't act like you're drunk, you just have to try to behave. Um, so anyway, I was very red, I was very sunburnt, but I had a lot of fun times in Cozumel. So I will be taking the husband there one day. The kids will not be drinking unless Ty is 18. He will not be drinking. So 18, if for the Americans, 18 is the legal drinking age here. So just saying. All right. So anyway, that was Hurricane Katrina. Now, another thing that happened, we had a woman overboard. It was a really sad and surreal feeling being on a ship when someone goes overboard. So we had the old school box TVs. Obviously, the TVs weren't very clear. So I remember being in the gym and seeing this woman's face all over the TVs. Have you found her? Have you found her? There was guests out with their binoculars looking for her. And yeah, it wasn't nice. Like it was just really, really somber, I guess, on the ship, knowing that someone had gone overboard, and they couldn't locate this person. Now things got even weirder because I was actually friends with their waiter. So he told me that he was just serving the family like he always did. And he goes, "Hey, how you guys doing today?" And the one of the kids said, "Oh, my mummy's gone missing," or something like that. But yeah, he said it was really bizarre. Like they were just at dinner, like almost like nothing had happened. And, um, they were like, he said they just weren't sad about it like they should have been. So he thought that was really, really strange. Their behavior was really strange. I don't know what the situation is. Obviously, you don't want to go accusing or making allegations, but it did seem bizarre that, I know if one of my family members was missing, oh, going to dinner at the MDR would be the last thing on my mind, honestly. So, unfortunately, I don't believe she was ever found. But yeah, it's just one of those sad situations. People don't just fall overboard. It's either their own thing or some foul play. But I don't want to say anything happened, but it was very sad. It was very somber. But yeah, Netflix series, I know there's been some, and I've watched them. But the sad thing is these things happen. And it is extremely sad for the family who are on board generally. And obviously all the rest of the guests are affected when something like that happens. It does really, change the mood and the vibe on the ship. But anyway, all right, let's get past that. So we are right towards the end of my contract now. It is almost time for me to get off the ship. And then Hurricane Rita decided, oh, I'm getting my party crashed here. Oh, look, say hello. So Hurricane Rita was hitting Galveston on the day that I was supposed to sign off. So they're like, oh, well, you can't sign off. So you have to stay on for another 2 weeks. And by this stage, I was so over it. I was so ready to get off the ship. I have Peter keep the kids busy. Well, Ty's fine. Ty's just hiding away in his room like he always does. But Alira is the one who likes to come and they're saying hello to you. Say hi.
Oh, look, there's a turtle right there.
There is a turtle because she knows that you like turtles.
How?
So she's giving you a turtle. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah.
Yeah. A few highs for you there too, babe. All right. So anyway, so I had to stay on for another 2 weeks. So by this stage, I was like, just get me off this ship. I was so ready to get off. Anyway, I did. Has it frozen again, or have you paused it?
I paused it.
Oh, you paused it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got off the ship eventually, but before I got off the ship, I decided to go print off a couple of my photos from my old school camera, you know, because we didn't have phones back then. We didn't even have social media. We had a internet cafe that was off the crew bar that we could use, and I was buying calling cards to call home. So that's how I kept in touch with home, but obviously it was very limited back then. So anyway, I decided to, she's reading the Joe Farkas book. I decided to, they're saying you're beautiful. You are beautiful, aren't you? The drink.
Remember they try to make you drink?
Oh, they did try to make me drink last time, didn't they? So yeah, I went to go get some photos printed off, and I went and saw my mate Alex, who worked in the photo thing, so we'd pay and get some photos printed off. So there was a few photos that I wanted printed off. So I said, oh, just before I leave the ship, can you print off these few for me? So he printed off a few photos for me. And then I flew to England, see my friend Susan. And then I put my, what was it? Was it cards we used back then for the photos? I can't remember. Anyway, the card that had all the, was it a card back then, or were they like cartridges? I can't remember how old school this was. But anyway, whatever it is that all my photos were on, when I took, I'm pretty sure it was a little card, like a not a micro SD, like an SD card or something along those lines, some sort of card. Anyway, I went to go plug it in and I realized he had wiped the whole thing. So the only photos I have, SD card, yeah. The only photos I have of that contract are the ones that he printed off, because everything else got wiped. So not only did I not have social media, I didn't have, digital cameras and all that. I then lost all of my photos. So I only have very select few photos from my time working on the cruise ship. And I don't know, maybe that's part of, Chris Jeffrey. Thank you. I restocked. This is not the same one as last time. It doesn't taste as good as Patron XO, but it's a lot more. It was a lot more affordable. Here you go, babe. Do the honors. So anyway, so that was basically my time on the ship. But I think that's part of the reason why now I have this YouTube channel, because I like to take photos and keep all those memories, and especially of the kids. Yeah, absolutely. Ask some questions. Go for it. I'm done talking. So actually, quickly, just before we do, Chris Jeffrey. Thank you. Thank you. Right. This one doesn't taste as good as the other one. All right.
I'm making your drink.
It wasn't too bad, but it doesn't go down the same as the other one. Oh, you lost all the photos from your first cruise too, Sharon. Oh, it sucks. It does. All right. So your first cruise is on the 30th of October on Carnival Splendor. All right. So I'm sure you already have, but make sure you check out my channel. We did do Carnival. We did do Halloween cruises on Splendor last year. So you get a bit of a glimpse of what it's like. there is, oh, you've watched heaps of my videos. Well, thank you. There is a Halloween party, a costume party. Good, you got them ready. Excellent. All I can say is just go on board and just live in the moment. I think people try to plan too much in advance. And the thing is, on a cruise ship, you don't really need to plan anything. The only thing you need to do is make sure you're prepared with the medication, make sure you understand that you won't have internet, stuff like that. Oh, Mardi Gras for Halloween, babe. They're on Mardi Gras.
Oh, how good. That's amazing.
We wish we had those ships. I really want to go on Jubilee because it's out of Galveston. So I want to relive my time in Galveston. Thanks, Vanessa. She likes the channel. Yes. So I am going to be Steve added it again. I am going to be putting up another video this weekend of that cruise, but it was only a 3-day cruise, so there's only one more day to upload. And hang on, Lyra. I'm trying to pour. Whoop.
Oh.
Well, I just spilt some, but that one's Peter's. Oops. You can have that one. That's what I've got her tapping me. Yeah, we can do it. It's got a flexing arm. So yeah, I only have one more day of that series, but I also filmed like some food and drink videos from there that I will be putting up soon. All right, hang on, Lyra. Mummy and Daddy are having.
Just be careful.
All right, this one's for you, Steve.
This one's
17 days. You are going to have so much fun.
You can see how full it is.
I'm not cheersing you because you'll spill it everywhere. All right. So, all right. Yeah. So Kay was on that cruise with me, and I got to say, Kay, I call her my social media mum. She always has my back. And, you know, when I do get trolls, her daughter actually is an influencer, and she's very, she's got a lot of followers. Feel free to put in there what your daughter's, because I can't remember the top of my head. Feel free to put in what your daughter's Instagram is, Kay, so that we can follow her. But yeah, she travels. I do follow her. But so Kay understands what it's like sometimes when I get these trolls. So she always has my back, and she's that one person I can vent to. All right. So you guys, all right. So you're in your 30s, and you guys, you are they singles? They most likely will be. And you know, you just got to go on there and have fun. Like my 40th birthday, we went on there, and the girls in my group ranged from 18 to 50. How old was she? I think she was like, I don't know, 50-ish. And so we just went on there, and we had a ball. Kate's in there. Sis-in-law's in there.
Oh.
Say hi, Kate. There you go, Tegan Philippa. So yeah, please follow her as well. Also my people on here, so Dave and Brandy, and then we've got Controversial Cruising there in the States, and then we've got Bag Drop and Robin Alley and Matt, and so many of them. But my 40th birthday cruise was hilarious. It was so much fun. I've gone way over time here, so I do have to jump off soon. But it was so much fun being with the girls, so much so that we are doing it again for my birthday next year. So my sister-in-law, Kate, is going to be with me again, and we are doing a 3-day on Encounter for my birthday next year. So sorry, babe, leaving you behind. He's going to be here in charge of the children. We'll be partying it up. And yeah, it's different. I love cruising with you, and I love cruising with you. But it is very different when you're with your girls. Like, I don't know, just we danced at the nightclub till all hours. We had so much fun. We just partied hard, and yeah, we had a great time on that cruise. So I'm going to wrap it up real quick. So if there's any last little things that you guys want to, 2 guys and 1 girl traveling. It does hit different when you're with the girls. Absolutely. I don't know. So,
Mommy.
yeah. Okay, is Maddie watching? She says, hi, Alira. Hi, Peter. Let us know if Maddie's watching.
Yeah.
Alira wants to know if her cousin's watching. I absolutely really appreciate you guys coming along and hearing my story. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. Hopefully you enjoyed my story. My travel insurance choice. So I did originally go with Southern Cross Travel Insurance. I found they were really, really good. But last time I checked, they like doubled in price. So now I go with Covermore Insurance. They're a lot more affordable. So, yeah, that's generally who I go with now. And is insurance mandatory? Mandatory, technically no, but you do not want to not go on with insurance. No matter how young and fit you are, anything can happen. If you got to get airlifted off that ship, you do not want to not have travel insurance. So make sure you have travel insurance. I can't stress that enough. It's not worth cruising without it. Absolutely. Life does still happen. Thank you, Dave and Brandy. So thanks.
Yeah.
Also, what day is my birthday? So my birthday is the 27th of March. So I am going to be on Encounter. We get on the 27th of March. It's a 3-day cruise. And get this, we got a suite because an ocean suite was only $10 more than a balcony. Like, when does that happen? So us girls going to be staying in suites. She's like, what's
You're in for a fun cruise if you're on that one.
So far there's only 5 of us in the group this time. But there's potential of more being added on, but it's a little bit last minute. So, hey, if any of the girls out there are looking to party, you know where the party's going to be at next year. But the Content Creators Cruise, that birthday party will be my 22nd annual 21st birthday party. And it's going to be going 22nd? Yeah, 22nd. Yeah. I'm doing the maths here. Maths is not my strong suit. So we're going to be doing my 22nd annual 21st birthday, March 27th. So 24th to 30th of March 2027 out of Melbourne, Carnival Adventure. Make sure you're on it. It is going to be wild. I appreciate you guys all jumping in. I am going to go now because it has been an hour and 15 minutes and I talked way too much. Yeah.
You know what no one has said?
What?
About my birthday.
Oh,
yes.
Guess whose birthday is coming up in 11 days? Little Miss is going to be 6 years old. Can we all give her a quick happy birthday?
Look, who's laughing.
Oh, they're talking about my... Oh, look at all the happy birthdays coming through now.
Happy birthday.
What do you say, Lyra?
Yeah.
Say thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Beautiful girl's going to be 6 years old. Such a big girl. Anyway, I am going to call it, but thank you, everyone. Oh, look, lots and lots of turtles for you. And there's cake and cupcakes and love hearts and balloons.
I was going to say, after your experience working as a crew worker or staff worker,
yeah,
would you recommend it? Is it for someone out there?
Would I recommend being crew? Like, I don't know if this is actually, the mic's actually working. I do have a mic. I don't know if it's coming through there or through there. So I don't know if you would have heard that. But Peter's asked, would it be worth working as crew? So many variables. We are very fortunate to be in Australia. We have good wages. We have good work conditions. So as an Australian, unless I was an entertainer, I wouldn't
Mm.
consider it. Entertainers, it's a bit different. You're doing what you love. You do have set pay. You have set hours, and their hours are a lot less than what we have, or we had in the spa. And obviously, you don't have to pay for your accommodation or anything, and your food's included. So, if I could have my time again, I would have auditioned to be a dancer, or I would have gone
Cruise director.
for Fun Squad, promoted onto cruise director. I would not work in the spa again.
Yeah.
So that is my answer. Would I be a waiter or a cleaner? Hell no. No,
Yeah.
thank you. So that's why we tip our bar staff, our waiters, and our room stewards, because we know, and I know the sacrifices that they make, because a lot of these people do have families back home. I know and appreciate what they do. So I do choose to leave some tips for them.
Yeah.
But everyone's saying I'd make a great cruise director.
She
You know,
would.
should mummy go be a cruise director on a cruise ship? I should. But then, I'd live on the ship and I'd be away from you.
Well, Shell's already said it's not too late.
Alira's changed her mind. Do you want mummy to work on the ship now?
Oh,
Oh, see? How could I leave that? Yeah. You know what, Lyra? We'll have to train you up to be a dancer on a cruise ship, and then mummy will come visit you all the time.
We get cheap discounts as well, don't we?
Yeah, we'll get discounts.
Yeah.
It'll be friends and family discount.
Why
So, all right. Well, thank you everybody for being here today. And thanks for the votes for me being cruise director. Shell did say to me it's never too late to be a cruise director. So Shell, the cruise director, for those of you who don't know her, she is a cruise director. She was on the Splendor. She will be on Luminosa, so we'll be seeing her on Luminosa. Yeah, they're all saying happy birthday to you.
What is happening there?
Oh, which one? This one? That one. She says, "Oh." So yeah, as we left, Shell's parting words were, you're never too old to be a cruise director. But my life situation says otherwise, because how could I leave that? So thank you everybody for being here today and chiming in, and thank you for the happy birthdays for this beautiful little girl. And yeah, feel free to message me on Instagram or Facebook if you have any questions. Hope I've given you a bit of insight of what it's like to be a crew member on a cruise ship. I do think it's pretty ironic that 20 years later I am a gym manager who is also a cruise vlogger. I think that's pretty ironic. It's full circle moment, and it definitely wasn't planned. It's just when I look back, I'm like it was pretty weird. But I'm loving doing this. I'm loving having you guys all as a part of the Cruise Crazed fam, and I really do appreciate you more than you know. You're all amazing. I appreciate you being in here today. Thank you guys, and I'll bring a video to you as soon as I can. Thanks, guys. Give them a wave. You crazy kid.
Look what Daddy did for you. Look what Daddy did for you.